And we can start everything. So first of all, good afternoon, everyone. I am really glad to set up this webinar this week because today we have really a relevant, interesting purpose. So we will talk today about ethical artificial intelligence, the key tool to address global challenges. So I'm really glad and proud to welcome in our webinar canal Citibeats, but also the Catalunya Generalitat here, and also ID Lab. So we have several speakers connected from US. So today, so thank you so much for your time with the time zone, and also the CEO of Citibeats and one of the director of Catalunya Generalitat. So I will continue. Today, the purpose is to talk a little bit more to highlight the ethical artificial intelligence community and how the technology can have an impact on the social life, but also all of connected with the smart cities and the government, how we can use the technology as a services for us. Basically, it's for us. So we will learn today, we will go through three different points of view. One of them is from the government, the public administration. The other point of view, it's one of about the concrete business case, I would say about the operation life, about companies. And the third one, it's about who can support this kind of initiative. So I would like to say thank you. Just a little reminder, this session will be recorded, so don't worry if you miss some information. It will be recorded in our website and after in our speaker website. You can find all of the material. So this kind of webinars, the aim is to share and to connect. It's not only a top-down presentation because it's not the purpose of this webinar. The purpose of this webinar is to connect between us and to share knowledge, but also maybe contacts. So please, in order to fill in and to fulfill this aim, please don't hesitate to ask on the chat box. Don't hesitate to use the chat box that you have on your right side to ask questions. We will have 3 blocks. So after 3 blocks of presentation, you can ask. Also open your microphone, open your video and ask directly to be more real, you know, and to develop this connection. Just during this time, be on mute during the session and quit off. No pressure between us because the idea is to consolidate our tech community in Spain and around the world. The idea is to share and have a good moment. We will first start with the speaker presentation that we have today, and after we will go through the open discussion. First of all, we will define the concept of ethical artificial intelligence and how the technology can have an impact on the social life. On the second hand, we will talk about a specific case in concrete with our Citibeats company. And third, we will see how they support initiative as company as Citibeats and who. And at the end, if you have more questions, will be the question and answer time. But how I say at the beginning, the idea is to share. I will ask on the chat box. And about us, who is GlobalM? So GlobalM, we are an IT recruitment agency, consultancy, but we are also here to support all of the founders, CEO, CTO, to grow and to share and to create also this technological community. So now we will start with the speaker presentation. So I will unmute my microphone because now it's the turn to my guest. So I'm really proud of you. Maybe we can start with Ivan, the CEO of Citibeats. Ivan, you can unmute and present you.
Yeah, thank you very much. I'm going to share my screen. I think I need permission to share my screen.
Now it's okay, you can.
Okay.
It's okay.
Okay, perfect. Okay, can you see my screen?
No.
No?
And now, yes. You can share your screen now.
Now, when I play, no, it says that host disabled attendee screen sharing.
Okay, so don't worry, I'll screen mine. Just wait.
Okay, in the meantime, just to introduce you myself, I'm Caballero. I'm the CEO. I'm the CEO and founder of Citibeats. Citibeats is a social understanding platform helping governments and companies to better understand citizens' concerns in real time and at scale. We're using artificial intelligence to process big amounts of data based on text, and with this data, we extract insights that help our partners to react faster and more efficiently to people's needs.
I will share my screen, don't worry.
Okay. That's great.
Can you see?
Yeah.
Perfect. So just send.
Yeah, go ahead. If you can. Yeah. So the mission and the vision of Citibeats is to power a more responsive society by raising every single voice from the society and giving them the relevance that it has. Just to put you some examples, we are working with IDV Lab all across Latin America to monitor in real time all the citizens' perceptions around COVID-19. And for this, we are processing all the data from internet. We are structuring that data and we are extracting insights in order to be able to help them to react faster and to have more context about people's needs. Can you go to the next one? Thank you. Today, I will introduce you, or I will present you like 5 impact implementations of the last year from Japan to Latin America. Can you go to the next one? Yeah, and we say that we are a response-able AI, and why is that? Because first is that we are responsible, and when we say that we are a responsible AI, we work in 3 main pillars. One is related to the privacy of the user, so all the information that we collect is totally anonymized, and we present it in an aggregated way, so we never provide personal information. Second is related to bias. You know, as many of you will know, all the internet information is totally biased, and we have developed some algorithms in order to detect in real time which is the bias of the models that our systems are developing, like for example gender, or for example age, and other socioeconomic data. And third is we say that we are responsible because our technology is only implemented in use cases that impact in the society, that impact positively in the society. Okay, and response able, we play with this concept because all the information all the insights that appear from Citibeats are actionable. So if an insight is not actionable, we don't deliver it. Okay. So okay, can you go to the next one? Thank you. In the last year, we also measure ourselves by the impact that we have in the society. So last year, we informed more than $150 million. We helped to have relevant information 90 days earlier than average, covering more than 30 countries and raising more than 30 million of voices. Yeah, next one, please. Yeah, and I will go very fast to the use cases, so you can make questions and probably it will be more rich for you. But first is related to dubbing. Yeah, can you go to the next one, please? In Dublin, we are helping the city to better understand in real time all the opinions and concerns about citizens. You know that normally all these city councils use surveys or use social media monitors. In our case, we are aggregating all the information from social networks, from phone call transcriptions, or from emails. We aggregate all that information, anonymize it, and extract all the insights, so the city of Dublin can react much faster. One example was we detected that it was during some days there was a lot of cold nights, and there were some homeless having struggling a little bit about this situation, and the society were asking to the city council to react faster to help them. And yeah, that was like a very simple example about how this technology can be used. Thank you. Yeah, as an average, we helped the city of Dublin to collect that information 90 days earlier and to increase the civic feedback volume in 250. Yeah. Another example, social inclusion with Fundación 11 here in Spain. Fundación 11 is an organization helping blind people. Yeah, can you go to the next one, please, Alexandra? What we did with them was to use all the citizens of Spain voices in order to detect problems of accessibility in infrastructures. So they could somehow create better policies and to put some pressure on the local governments in order to address them. It was really interesting because we were using like every single citizen as an antenna, as a radar of problems in infrastructure. So through Fundación 11, all this information was really relevant in order to push the governments to repair and to adapt all the infrastructure in order to be more accessible. Yeah, next one, please. Yeah, so during 6 months, we increased more than 250 times the issue detection. Yeah, another example. Probably many of you, if you are in Spain, you remember that 4 months ago we had some floodings in the southeast of Spain. And we were working, can you go to the next, please? To the next slide. We were working with Telefónica. Telefónica is the biggest telco here in Spain, in order to mix all the information, geolocation information from antennas, mobile antennas, mixing it with internet information. So we could detect which infrastructures were damaged, and due to these damages, how this was affecting to the daily life of people. This was super interesting because we not only had all the numbers about how many cars are going through this highway or through this road, or which road is, the number of cars that is decreasing passing through this road. We were also giving more context about why these cars were changing the route or were choosing different roads. And this helped to decide and to create a better policy about mobility during these floodings, during these natural disasters. Yeah, next please. Yeah, so in only 2 weeks, we covered more than 10 municipalities, and we detected and informed budgets for more than 180 million euro. Next, please. Yeah, can you go to the next one, please? Okay, yeah, and I think this is the last use case. This is the one that we are developing with IDB Lab or IDB Group. IDB will be introduced later by Tetsuro, but is a multilateral organization helping developing and reducing inequalities in Latin America. Much more things of that, but we are helping them to monitor across 26 countries right now all the social issues that are appearing. You know, when you're a big organization, you need to have like an eagle view of which things are which are the most pressing things in different regions in order to prioritize your actions. And this is our role. We are helping them to detect and to have social early warning signs about which are the investments they have to do. Next one, please. Yeah, right now, yeah, this is a little bit old, so it says 11, but we are working in 26 countries, and we are right now we are collecting more than 15 million voices per month. Yeah, and yeah, this is but I think I'm a little bit out of time, so I will pass this one. Yeah, next one. Yeah, so I think we have Q&A, so I'm open to any question you may have to solve or to develop any of the use cases or the concepts that I already explained.
Gracias, Iván. Gracias por tu presentación. Ya acabo de animar el chat box. Por ahora no tenemos pregunta. No sé si alguien quiere...
Hasta mañana se hace una hora que no haces nada, chaval.
Ah, tenemos todos los speakers. Tenemos una pregunta de Robert, que how can the public be confident that Citibeats is anonymizing their personal comments?
Well, okay, let me explain you a little bit about the story of Citibeats, and I think I will make it very clear. Citibeats was born out of a social experiment called Social Coin here in Spain. The experiment was about understanding what makes people help others. And after 2 years developing this experiment in collaboration with UC Berkeley and NYU, we found out that one of the reasons that makes people helping others is to have visibility about the needs that are around them. So having a clear call to action. So we presented a paper with these conclusions to the European Commission, and they awarded us with a grant in order to develop a technology that could help understanding in real time the needs of the society. After 1 year of R&D, we launched the first version of Citibeats. And since then, so first, the money comes from the European Commission, you know, so they are auditing us, and all the technology has been developed by their supervision. This is one side. So we are purely a social player, and yeah, our activity is totally transparent, and happy to open the door so any public entity can audit our technology. And on the other hand, so all the use cases that we are applying are based on social impact. So what I would say is that there's no way that that we can use the data in a bad manner. I don't know if I was enough clear.
Robert, do you want to? Is it clear enough? You can unmute your microphone if you want to say that it's clear for your side, or if you want more implication.
Yes, clear enough.
Thank you, Robert. So now we have a second question from Aroa. It's she's asking, how does Citibeats collect this voice? You mentioned emails, comments, and social networking. How does Citibeats access to this data from different sources and in real time?
Yeah, okay, that's a good point. Okay, let's say that there are two types of data. One is public data, and the other one is proprietary data. When we say public data, we could speak about news, comments on news, blogs, forums. Okay, then there's proprietary data, like for example, data from Twitter. And then there's also proprietary data from our customers, like for example, a city council that has all the emails received by the Department of Civic civic care or civic response. So for Twitter, we pay. So we are connected into their API. yeah, and when I say Twitter, it can be any other social network. Okay, we pay them in order to be able to access to their API and extract tweets. For internet general data, we work with data aggregators, which is players that normally have agreements with all these media, news, and websites and blogs, so they can use them and aggregate it. So we pay also for that. And then there's data that is proprietary from the customer, that normally the customer delivers this data anonymized, or we anonymize to them. So we can mix these three types of data in the same model.
Thank you, Ivan. Aroa, is it okay from your side? Or you can unmute your microphone just to answer that it's okay if you want more information.
Okay, thank you. It's okay. I have just another question for that. So I understand you don't use private data from individuals, right? Because you mentioned calls when you work with Telefonica. So, and I believe you refer to the data provided from Telefonica, right? So you don't interfere private data, right?
No, of course not. When I say calls, normally it's called phone call transcription. And and always the user has given permission to record that call. Okay, for example, when you call to 911, normally they record it for quality purpose or just for legal purpose. So and you give permission to record that information. So what we do is to collect the transcription of this phone call without personal data.
Okay, thank you. Is it okay from your side, Aroa?
Yes, it's okay. Thank you.
Okay, we have a question also from Laura Vicente, but it's quite the same because how it complies with GDPR rules and privacy rules. But you're already answering. And we have other question from Alexandra Lupion. What data source do you use? How can you assure you cover most of society?
Yeah, okay. I think I tried to explain this in the beginning when I was explaining about ethics. So why do we consider ourselves an ethical AI? So, okay, we use any type of data in text. Okay, so we can use any type of data based on text on one hand. On the other hand, we can use any language also. So we are language agnostic and data source agnostic. Okay. Second is that we are focusing all our efforts into developing pieces of technology that are able to detect and normalize bias due to data. So, for example, if we are using Twitter as a main data source for a project, and we detect that Twitter is, so the people that is, or the model is 60% male, and between an age of 20 and 40, which would be the normal, our system detects this, so we can normalize the model. So this is the maths behind the models that we create. So we are generating not only the technology to process the text data, also the technology to detect the bias and to be able to normalize the models.
Okay, thank you. Alexandre Lupion, is it okay for you? Just yes or no, and you can unmute.
Yes, that's fine. I can imagine that Twitter is quite young focus. Do you have to make some filters sometimes or some correction to your data?
It depends on the topic. So, for example, if we speak about soccer, football, there's a very concrete type of people speaking about this. If we speak about politics, it's wider, much wider. If we speak about, I don't know, racism, there's another type of people speaking about this. So the point is not having like a, okay, Twitter in Spain is 60% male, is that having real-time detection of the bias. And this is like our obsession right now, being able to detect, okay, with this topic, what's the sample? What's the universe? And how can we normalize in order to be able to have a model that is wider and is not generating any type of discrimination.
Thank you.
Okay,
It's
thank
okay?
you. Yeah, thank you. Very clear. Thank you.
Thank you, Alexandra. We have 3 other questions and we'll stop for this block. And so from Sandra Bayer, today more than ever, city leaders need current data about citizen opinions and actions. How quickly can you share information and help city leaders respond to issues?
Okay, this is a very tricky question. I can answer by the part that depends on me. And just to put you an example, with the COVID thing in Spain, probably you remember around 3 months ago that one Saturday we were told to go at home and not leave home for some time, right? That Friday, we were speaking with the government and they were very concerned about what was coming. And we launched an observatory about the COVID in only 24 hours, okay? So on Monday, it was running and they were having insights about what were the most concerning, the biggest concerns of the population in that region. Okay, and the second part, how much time do a leader need to take decision? Probably all of you will agree that it depends on the leader. And it depends on the agenda of everyone and the context of that city or that country. And but what I can say is that as an average, we are collecting more than 90 days earlier the insights. So, and this is making a difference. Just to put you another example, last month, we detected 2 weeks earlier than the New York Times, a problem around hunger in 2 neighborhoods in Colombia and Venezuela. 2 weeks later, New York Times was breaking news. In breaking news, they were saying that, but 2 weeks before we were announcing this to BitLab, who took immediate action, for example.
Thank you, Ivan. Sandra Bayer, is it okay for your side? You can
Yes,
unmute.
thank you, Ivan. I think cities around the world, cities around the world are really operating at the speed of trust. And I feel like Citibeats is one of those companies that really gets to the authentic heart of the problem. So I think the quicker these analytics can be shared, the better. I definitely see global opportunities for this, especially with COVID and the other pandemics in our society today. So thank you, Ivan.
Thanks very much, Sandra.
Thank you, Sandra. We have 2 last questions from you, from your blog. So Robert, if you are, from Robert, the same, if you are monitoring specific groups on social media like homeless canals, how can you be sure they want this collective voice to be used by your partner or clients?
Okay, okay, let me rephrase because maybe I didn't explain it very well. So we are not monitoring what homeless say. What we are monitoring or analyzing is what is being said. And if homeless appears in the conversations, then we can extract that piece, that insight, and we can add like different layers of insights on top. Like for example, in which neighborhoods, what's the sentiment, what's the intent, what are the topics, like for example, cold or cold night, no, as I was explaining before with Dublin, and or a society mobilization. Okay, of course, if the homeless don't want to be heard, that's okay, but they are not speaking. Who is speaking is people around that are seeing the problem and are using internet or different data sources to raise the voice about a problem that they see. Of course, what we do is to collect that information, structure, and pass it to a decision maker. But if there is a decision taken or not, this is not our responsibility or what we need to do.
Thank you. Robert, is it answering to your question?
Yes, very well, thank you.
Thank you, Robert. And the last one from you, for the CTP part, it's from Dora Angelov. Having such a wide range, could you use your platform for warnings, a natural disaster, pandemic, riots, etc.?
Yeah. Yeah, totally. In fact, that's what we are doing. Let me put you very short examples of more use cases. In Japan, we are working with Entity Data, which is one of the biggest partners, to create models, preventive models after earthquakes. Okay, so we have an earthquake. We monitor all the problems that appear in different cities around affected by the earthquake. So in the next one, we can have a preventive model. Some examples of insights is this road gets blocked. If this road gets blocked, food doesn't arrive to this neighborhood. This hospital gets totally collapsed. If this hospital gets collapsed, we need to people have to bring injured people into their houses. So this is an example. Yeah, and another example right now that we are launching right now is about post-COVID situations. So another case is related, with the COVID and the post-COVID, there is a lot of unemployment and destruction of some type of jobs. So we are monitoring how the job scene is changing in real time. Another case is related to digital breach. So how everything is going digital. Everyone needs to get digitalized. All the companies needs to get digitalized. So what is this? What is happening about this? So it's happening that some people doesn't have the skills to follow this speed. And this is generating like more more gap and lack of opportunities for some groups of people. No, so we are also helping monitoring this in order to create like contingency plans and to help not increasing the problems in different societies or different regions.
Thank you. And Dora, is it okay from your side? You can unmute.
Yes, sort of okay. Just a follow-up question. So could, for example, by monitoring other countries, let's say China, could you have had some sort of a warning for Spain saying, look, this is happening there and it's quite serious. You need to be careful before the government actually reacted to the pandemic?
Okay, this is not a crystal ball. So yeah, of course, if we were monitoring the whole world, probably we could generate early warning signs across borders, let's say. But let me tweak a little bit the question and the answer. So we could evaluate, let's say, towards Spain, what people who wants to travel to Spain is saying, which are the capabilities and with which intention they are going to travel. Okay, so if we have this need in Spain, like, okay, who is going to come from where and with which intentions, we could work on that. Like monitoring everything and warning everyone it's much more complex. So one of the challenges of this technology is to be able to do very good questions to the data. In this case, I think it would be too wide.
Understood. Thank you so much.
Thanks,
Thank you, Dora. We have just a comment from Anne, just to say thank you for you, Evan. Awesome work, and she will watch the recording session. So from the chat box, it's the end of the question, and I think it's the end of your part. We can go through the next speaker. Thank you so much from you, Evan, for your presentation. But don't worry, after all of the webinars session, we have also a Q&A if some attendees have more questions. So now we'll go through the next one. Ricard Faura Omedes. This is the Inclusion and Digital Innovation Manager at the Catalunya government. So for this case, we will talk in Spanish, so because we are a really international people. So we speak also English and Spanish. So I'm really glad if Ricard can unmute his microphone to welcome Ricard Faura Omedes in our webinar canal in order to understand las implicaciones éticas del uso de la inteligencia artificial. Ricard? Ricard está aquí.
Sí,
Ricard,
¿Sí? ¿Me
ahora
oyes?
puedes, ahora sí.
Ahora, vale.
Dejamos
Vale,
a Ricard. El honor, el placer de acoger en nuestro webinar session, que es el responsable de la Generalitat de Cataluña. Te dejo presentar. Muchas gracias.
muchas gracias a vosotros y perdonad porque por dificultades técnicas me he tenido que conectar por la tablet, o sea que no sé a nivel de imagen cómo se verá. Primero de todo, siempre me gusta situarme a nivel personal en el contexto. Actualmente llevo a cargo, soy responsable de los servicios de inclusión y capacitación digital dentro del Departamento de Políticas Digitales y Administración Pública de la Generalitat de Catalunya. Yo creo que es importante destacar este punto.
Primer, agafa't una pastilla, 2 pastilles aquelles amb un got d'aigua, agafa't un iogurt de plàtano i després t'agafes una mica de plàtano.
Ya, puedes ir.
Sí, digo, por primera vez en el gobierno tenemos una consejería, un gobierno, un departamento específico para políticas digitales. Esto también es importante porque le dan un peso y una visión transversal a todas las políticas que tienen que ver en el impulso del uso de la tecnología y la aplicación de esta tecnología en cualquier campo del propio gobierno. El segundo punto también para mí personalmente es importante, que es el de mi visión como tecnoantropólogo. Tecnoantropólogo es una pseudodisciplina que un grupo de compañeros tecnoantropólogos impulsamos desde Barcelona, donde somos ya te digo, este grupo de antropólogos que hace tiempo que trabajamos en el ámbito de la tecnología, rodeados y que nuestros compañeros son mayoritariamente ingenieros informáticos, y lo que vimos importante es de aplicar la visión y las metodologías de las ciencias sociales, en este caso la antropología, y juntarlas con también la manera de ver y de trabajar de los ingenieros y de los informáticos. Porque mientras que unos estamos acostumbrados a analizar mucho y quedarnos en la propuesta de la problemática en que estamos analizando, los ingenieros, los informáticos, lo que hacen es dar soluciones a una problemática que hemos detectado, ¿no? Y esta simbiosis entre estas dos visiones, la de científico social y la de ingeniero, creo que es la que necesitamos en estos momentos para solucionar problemas como los que ahora hablaremos, y por eso creamos esta visión de la tecnoantropología, ¿no? Además, a nivel particular, estoy llevando dentro de la Ateneo Barcelonés toda la parte que es una institución de casi de 150 años en Barcelona, para intentar explicar y llevar a la ciudadanía este lenguaje y este discurso que tenemos nosotros muy aprendido, pero que quizá el ciudadano de a pie no acaba de entender, ¿no? He querido también aprovechar, buscar una realidad y una noticia reciente de esta semana pasada mismo. En la semana pasada, el día 11 en concreto, saltaba esta noticia en diferentes medios. He querido destacar en un par de periódicos. En esta es La Vanguardia de Barcelona, donde resalta aquí en titulares que IBM y Amazon abjuran de la tecnología de reconocimiento facial por su sesgo racista, ¿no? Es una noticia de impacto, creo, y en el ámbito de la inteligencia artificial también mucho más. En concreto, IBM y Amazon han reconocido delante de en el entorno y el momento de protestas contra el racismo y brutalidad policial que hay tanto en Estados Unidos como poco a poco se ha ido extendiendo en el resto del mundo. IBM, con esta decisión, reconoce y desaconseja por su parte el uso de este tipo de herramientas de reconocimiento facial a través de la inteligencia artificial, ¿no? Presionada por esta decisión, su competidora Amazon anunció una moratoria de 1 año en el uso de este software por parte de la policía. La razón también es su preocupación por haber detectado realmente sesgos racistas en los resultados de estos usos, ¿no? De hecho, hay un estudio en el MIT, en el Media Lab del MIT, que concluyó justo en 1918, en el 2018, perdón, que aunque dice que la precisión media de estos productos oscila entre el 93,4 y el 87,9, las diferencias en función del color de piel y el sexo son muy notables. Ya lo podéis ver aquí en la transparencia que he puesto. El margen de error entre identificar un hombre blanco y una mujer negra es del 34%. Es altísimo, ¿no? El 93% de los errores cometidos por productos de Microsoft, en este caso, afectaban a personas de piel oscura y el 95% de los fallos de Face Plus, que es una alternativa china, se refería a las mujeres. Aquí hay era una extensión de otro periódico español que habla del movimiento Black Lives Matter, que pone en jaque la controvertida tecnología de reconocimiento facial. Y aquí, investigando, y hemos encontrado a la investigadora del MIT que hacía referencia a los estudios anteriores, en el slide anterior, nos dice que supone un reconocimiento de que la tecnología de reconocimiento facial, especialmente la implementada por la policía, se ha utilizado para socavar los derechos humanos y dañar específicamente a las personas negras, así como a las personas indígenas y otras personas de color. Como os decía, Amazon también se ha sumado al movimiento de IBM y es la que ha impulsado este año de moratoria en los servicios de estos ámbitos, diciendo, ¿no?, y remarcando que abogan porque los gobiernos establezcan regulaciones más estrictas para regular el uso ético de la tecnología en el reconocimiento facial. En el mismo Congreso de los Estados Unidos está analizando la situación y está empujado por la denuncia de la propia sociedad civil, ¿no?, y diferentes empresas que se han sumado a ellas. Tenemos, por ejemplo, he remarcado esta frase, ¿no?, de el uso policial de la tecnología de reconocimiento facial debería ser prohibida en este momento. Y esto lo dice Citibeats, que es científica de datos y colíder del equipo de inteligencia artificial y ética en Google. Creo que tenemos suficientes alertas para ver que necesitamos no solo una regulación, sino un control de lo que está ocurriendo y cómo se está utilizando en estos ámbitos la inteligencia artificial. En el caso de España, por ejemplo, es de los 2 únicos países de Europa, junto con Bélgica, que no ha autorizado las técnicas de reconocimiento facial. No obstante, como también remarco más adelante, sí se está probando, en concreto en la ciudad de Marbella, el reconocimiento corporal. El reconocimiento corporal reconoce a las personas por el propio estilo de caminar o por la ropa que llevan, y podría incluso reconocer las caras, pero esta función en estos momentos no está autorizada en España y no puede activarse, ¿no? En la siguiente aquí podemos ver, muchos ya de nosotros hemos pasado por estas por estas plataformas, sobre todo en aeropuertos. En este caso es el aeropuerto de Virginia. Este es el uso que se denomina entorno cerrado de uso de técnicas de reconocimiento facial con inteligencia artificial, y donde estos entornos cerrados tienen una tasa de éxito mayor de los denominados abiertos, que son como los que hemos visto anteriormente de estas técnicas aplicadas a espacios abiertos, a parques, a calles, etcétera, etcétera. Aquí, bueno, os destaco también uno de los estudios que he hecho referencia, que podéis encontrar en internet muy detallado. Y un poco a nivel ya de reflexión, ¿no? Los algoritmos hemos querido aplicar para que nos mejoren la vida, ¿no? Y sobre todo para facilitarnos procesos, acelerarlos y procesos sobre todo repetitivos. Y nos han ayudado, nos están ayudando a tomar decisiones que en muchos casos son difíciles, de manera más despersonalizada, creyendo también que así los algoritmos tendrán una decisión más justa a la que tendríamos los propios humanos. Pero aquí he querido también destacar el caso de Cathy O'Neill. Cathy O'Neill en el libro que os recomiendo, Armas de Destrucción Matemática, dice que, claro, los algoritmos son entrenados y es una suma de decisiones que han tomado distintas personas. De esta manera, lo que estamos sumando son estos sesgos que esas personas tenían, ¿no? O sea, que no es una solución aséptica el uso de este tipo de tecnologías, ¿no? Pero ¿cómo podemos garantizar entonces esta rendición de cuentas algorítmica cuando estamos hablando de fórmulas matemáticas muy complejas y que se presentan muy opacas, ¿no? Y todos estos algoritmos, y es un poco aquí entran ya en mi parcela, ¿no? Todos estos algoritmos que nos ayudan a tomar estas decisiones, tendrían que estar muy reguladas y deberían ser auditables y transparentes. Para que esto sea posible, mayoritariamente es mucho más fácil promover fórmulas de software libre y que nos permitieran hacer lo que llamamos la ingeniería inversa e identificar dónde están los fallos en estos algoritmos. En este caso es cuando viene el papel del ciudadano, ¿no? Y aquí entramos de lleno en la necesidad de la alfabetización que decimos y capacitación del ciudadano en todos estos aspectos, ¿no? Otro punto clave, resalto también, por ejemplo, lo podemos ver en el hecho de por ejemplo, el Reglamento General de Protección de Datos en Europa no va acompañada de una capacidad real de monitorizar los derechos y responsabilidades en los que se hace referencia. Y quiero, ya para cerrar, exponer el caso que estamos nosotros impulsando desde el Gobierno de Catalunya, que es la Carta Catalana de Derechos y Deberes Digitales de la Ciudadanía. Un poco para paliar, para intentar dar respuesta a todos estos interrogantes que ahora os estaba comentando. Esta carta, estáis viendo una captura de la página web donde os podéis descargar la versión tanto en catalán como en castellano como en inglés, y podréis ver también la metodología que hemos seguido, una metodología totalmente abierta a partir de un grupo primero reducido de expertos. Luego lo hemos abierto a un grupo ya de unos 60 o 70 expertos, y la tercera corona, digamos, es a partir de la participación de la ciudadanía, que ha hecho sus aportaciones y ha enriquecido lo que es el texto y el debate. En estos momentos tenemos detectados estos derechos y deberes que veis en este slide: el acceso universal a Internet, el modelo de gobernanza de Internet, abierto, inclusivo y con diversidad de actores, la libertad de expresión y de información, la innovación digital, creación, acceso y distribución del propio conocimiento, la protección de datos y la privacidad de la información, garantía de la capacitación y de la inclusión digital, y en este punto sobre la ética en el ámbito de la inteligencia artificial y la gobernanza algorítmica en el sector público y en el sector privado, y la creación de mecanismos de salvaguarda de los derechos digitales. La carta, también en estos momentos, es una carta que creemos que es viva y continuamente se tiene que ir actualizando a la realidad que vamos viviendo día a día. En estos momentos estamos trabajando en 2 aspectos nuevos para ampliar, que una son los derechos y deberes de niños, jóvenes y adolescentes, y el impacto de la tecnología en el mundo del trabajo. Aquí hay todo sobre todo en todos estos meses que hemos padecido la pandemia, hemos detectado que algunos derechos que parecían ya superados, como era el derecho a la conexión de todos los ciudadanos, están más vigentes que nunca. Es necesario que toda la ciudadanía tenga la posibilidad tanto para formarse como para poder interrelacionar con sus familiares, con sus amigos, como para poder trabajar, seguir trabajando. Es necesario que todas tengan el acceso y tengan la capacidad para poder seguir haciendo esta actividad de la misma manera y en remoto. Tenéis toda la información, como os he dicho, en Internet, pero cualquier duda, cualquier sugerencia que tengáis, estaremos encantados de ayudar y de comentarlo.
Muchas gracias, Ricard. Realmente fue muy interesante. Yo creo que el contenido muy relevante, muy detallado, como además la noticia de IBM Amazon, muy un caso concreto. Muchas gracias. Tenemos una pregunta por parte del público, Ricard, de parte de César, que le gustaría saber cómo puede el ciudadano de a pie ayudar a promover y investigar con software libre. ¿Alguna idea? Él está de acuerdo en que no debe quedar todo en la empresa privada y código cerrado.
Bueno, aquí el secreto es lo que hemos comentado, la posibilidad y la capacidad del ciudadano, primero en entender la importancia de todo esto, y luego la posibilidad también, si quiere, de poder auditar todos estos procesos. Aquí es donde todo lo que es lo que sea a nivel open facilita este control y facilita esta auditoría de realmente los procesos que hay internos y cómo se toman esas decisiones que nos afectan y mucho cada vez más a todos los ciudadanos. De alguna manera, nosotros sí que, si algo que nos afecta y que es a partir de una decisión de una empresa, de una administración pública, queremos saber, y si no estamos de acuerdo, pues que queremos pedir responsabilidades y poder reclamar, ¿no? Cuando esta decisión la toma una máquina, tendría que ser exactamente igual. Esta posibilidad tenía que ser la misma. Los derechos del ciudadano tendrían que ser exactamente lo mismo. Esto solo es posible, como digo, con una capacidad, con una formación mínima para que el ciudadano sea consciente de qué es lo que tiene delante y cómo tiene que interlocutar con él.
Muchas gracias, Ricard. César, no sé si te puedes unmute para saber si ha contestado o no a tu pregunta o si quiere más informaciones.
Sí, muchas gracias, Ricard. También quería saber, ¿crees que se podrá llegar a auditar pronto, en un tiempo corto, en un plazo corto, si se podrá llegar a auditar de manera clara, o sea, de manera transparente?
Bueno, en un plazo corto no es fácil, pero yo creo que se están acelerando las cosas. Los 2 ejemplos que os he puesto al principio, hace pocos meses o semanas incluso, parecían imposibles, ¿no? Que dos corporaciones como IBM, como Amazon, incluso como Google, se cuestionaran muchos de sus proyectos y la manera que están trabajando. Yo creo que esto es también una esperanza de que lo que parecía utópico, parecía imposible hace muy pocos días, y cada vez yo lo veo más cercano. Ahora sí, la participación y el papel de la ciudadanía tiene que ser muy relevante. No podemos dejar en manos de intereses privados, en este caso, o de gobiernos, únicamente de gobiernos, las decisiones que nos afectan directamente a la vida de las personas.
Ok, muchas gracias.
A ti.
Muchas gracias, César. Tenemos una pregunta de José Luis. ¿Cómo conseguiremos que el algoritmo no tenga sesgos si los datos de entrenamiento históricos ya reproducen sesgos?
Bueno, esto es un problema claro de si las personas que trabajan y que entrenan estos algoritmos son unas personas, normalmente se ha hecho algún estudio ya muy concreto de que la mayoría, el 90% de las personas que trabajan entrenando o diseñando o programando estos algoritmos son personas de raza blanca, de entre 30 y 50 años y con unos estudios concretos elevados y en un entorno geográfico también muy concreto. Si todas estas personas que son los que crean estos algoritmos, los entrenan, los auditan, lo que estamos haciendo es pasar estos sesgos a estos algoritmos, ¿no? La manera es abrir la posibilidad de que los programadores de estos algoritmos, los que los programan y los que los diseñan, sean lo más abiertos, los más plurales posibles. Y aquí entramos en problemáticas mayores, como es, por ejemplo, la exclusión femenina del mundo tecnológico. Estamos hablando de que no llegan a un 20% las mujeres que están trabajando en la tecnología. Esto ya es un sesgo directo, claro, que impacta en el desarrollo de la tecnología, como te he dicho, el nivel social también, y la localización y la cultura que hay detrás de la mayoría de las personas encargadas en realizar estos algoritmos.
Gracias, Ricard. José Luis, ¿está bien para ti si quieres unmute?
Sí, perfecto, gracias.
Gracias. Tenemos una pregunta de Alexandra. Me parece que un código abierto desplaza el problema. ¿Quién estudia y juzga estos códigos? Haría falta un ente neutral. ¿Lo tenemos?
De momento no lo tenemos. Aquí, por eso, estas iniciativas, yo creo que la que os contaba que hemos hecho desde el Gobierno de Cataluña, lo único que quiere es provocar este debate y hacer que este debate se haga global. De hecho, esta misma semana ha aparecido ya en la prensa que el Gobierno de España también ha iniciado un proyecto exactamente igual, de las mismas características, el mismo título y con la misma metodología. O sea que ya si se va provocando este efecto multiplicador, yo creo que es la manera, ¿no? que realmente abramos a los gobiernos, a la ciudadanía, la posibilidad de participar de manera activa en este tipo de decisiones y en el impacto de estas decisiones.
Gracias, Ricard. Alexandra, como siempre, está bien. Puedes unmute o si quieres
muy
comentar.
Bien, sí, muy bien, Ricard. Muchas gracias.
Gracias a ti.
Muchas gracias. Por la chatbox no tenemos más otras preguntas. Ricard, ¿quieres añadir algo más antes de pasar a Tetsuro? O tal vez Iván o Tetsuro, ¿quieres comentar algo?
Bueno, comentar que con Iván, en Citibeats, he tenido la oportunidad de utilizar la herramienta y realmente yo creo que es una de las vías de poder detectar y poder aplicar políticas públicas realmente ligadas a lo que está pasando casi en ese mismo momento. Es una herramienta que creo que tenemos que dar a conocer y que tenemos que entre todo fortalecer y enriquecer, porque estas herramientas necesitan el feedback y la colaboración de los propios usuarios, ¿no?
Muchas gracias, Ricard.
Si me permitís también, yo creo que Gracias por la mención, Ricard, y reforzar un poco el mensaje que Ricard comentaba. Después de unos años ya trabajando con distintos gobiernos y distintas organizaciones, las iniciativas que está llevando a cabo la Generalitat de Catalunya y en concreto el equipo de Ricard son referente para muchas otras regiones, muchas otras ciudades y muchos otros países. Con lo cual, bueno, solo reforzar un poco el mensaje de que tenemos de tener la suerte de tener a Ricard aquí compartiendo sus experiencias con nosotros.
Gracias.
Gracias, Iván. Gracias, Ricard. ¿Queréis añadir algo más o podemos pasar del tema de Citibeats, después del ayuntamiento, de la organización pública, quien también ayuda a ese tipo de organización para este propósito? Y hablar con Tetsuro. Tetsuro, ¿estás aquí?
Yes. Hi.
Yes, in English.
Just a quick question. How many minutes I have? I try to finish.
Don't worry. From my side, it's okay. We can go further. Don't worry. Okay.
I try to be efficient. My intervention in the trying to finish in a couple of minutes or 5 minutes, something like that. But thank you very much, and for the organizer to invite me to give me an opportunity to present on what we are doing, especially to support the AI-related initiatives in engaging both public sectors and private sectors. And the first of all, my name is Tetsuro Narita. I don't know how many of you know the Inter-American Development Bank. I work for IDB Lab. Well, Inter-American Development Bank is IDB, and then I work the department specialized in supporting private sector called IDB Lab. And we are a regional development bank specialized in Latin America, and my department, IDB Lab, is specialized in supporting innovation ecosystem or entrepreneurial ecosystem in Latin America and the Caribbean region. And we are strongly, well, we are IDB Lab, so we identify ourselves as innovation laboratory inside the IDB group, proactively seeking the connection of new solution, technology, and innovation with development agenda, and organizing projects in Latin America and the Caribbean region to see those new innovations, solutions, and ideas work or not. And if it works, we try to find a way to scale up those solutions. And if it doesn't work, we try to learn to improve our approaches in the future. No? So that's why we characterize ourselves as innovation laboratory inside the IDB group. And as I mentioned, the main activities for us to support Latin American entrepreneurial ecosystem or startups is through investments in venture capital in Latin America. So we invest in venture capital funds in Latin America, which identify innovative and potential companies to see if new solutions and new products and services can improve the lives of people in Latin America and the Caribbean region. In through our investment activities in venture capital funds in Latin America, one trend that we have been seeing is that not only B2B, but the several startups or companies have been innovating, not only providing products and services to the private sector, but then also providing ideas and solutions potentially to public sector. I mean B2G approach or GovTech. And I really enjoy the intervention of Ivan and Ricardo because the interventions of previous two panelists are kind of validation of what we are doing. Because on one thing, we are seeing public sector's strong interest in considering the potential of newly available technologies, but then of course paying attention to the ethics, fairness, bias, etc., because it is related to social program or social impact. But then on the other hand, then what I've seen, and then also Q&A session between Ivan and then other participants on this panel is, is also a kind of validation that of our belief that this kind of new technologies or new solutions can improve or can collaborate with the public sector, paying due attention to the topics I already mentioned, like an ethics, fairness, bias, and transparency, etc., etc. So based on our belief that several innovations with B2G approach of tech can increase the collaboration public-private, we initiated, and starting the AI technology. Of course, and we are looking at several technologies, not only artificial intelligence, AI, but also Internet of Things, virtual reality, drone, blockchain, etc. But to look at the potential of this kind of newly available technologies and then connecting public-private, and we started with AI specifically launching an initiative called FairLuck. I think the participants are looking at the website of FairLuck, and you are also seeing the URL, so you can visit the website, and which is newly launched. But we will be adding more and more information on this website and what we are doing through FairLuck initiative. Basically, FairLuck initiative is a public and private sector collaboration. So inside the IDB, one department specialized in collaborating with public sector, and ourselves, the department specialized in working with private sector. So two departments, one public and one private, joined the effort to initiate this initiative. So the public sector side, working with government and municipalities to increase the awareness, pros and cons of the newly available technologies, and to train the decision makers to be able to deploy, for example, AI-based system, AI-based solution, to the field, paying attention to all the topics and we have been discussing. But on the other hand, and why we are collaborating from private sector side is because when public sector or governments are interested in implementing technology-based solution or AI-based solution, not only big corporates, but then we believe that here there is a huge opportunity or space for startups or entrepreneurs to innovate, with new solutions and products. So that's why if public sector is interested in procuring technology-based services, we want to make the private sector players, especially entrepreneurs and the startups, be prepared to be able to respond to the needs, but from the beginning, paying huge attention to the ethics, fairness, and bias, or responsible handling of data, etc. So that's why through FairLuck, our idea is to collaborate with entrepreneurial ecosystem in Latin America, having entrepreneurs and startups in the center, finding the way how we can support as multilateral organization for those entrepreneurs and startups be prepared with ethical approach and the responsible handling of data. So that is what we are doing, and concretely what we already started is to create a kind of we call entrepreneurial journey, because when we speak about entrepreneurs or startups, there are so many stages, from ideation, a minimum viable product, go to market, or market traction and scale up. And depending on in which stage the company is found, maybe you know, the demands or needs may vary. So we are dividing the entrepreneurial stage of ecosystem, and for each stage of entrepreneurial journey, we are convening the relevant players with supporting mechanisms so that those entrepreneurs and startups their growth stage can incorporate an ethical approach and responsible approach to be able to develop their products and services based on AI. So that is what we are doing supporting mechanism, convening all the entrepreneurial ecosystem players to support entrepreneurs and startups is precisely, for example, for responding to the questions the participants today raised. So, for example, I think for supporting entrepreneurs with our ecosystem development is maybe three approaches. You know, one, how to improve their internal policy or governance. So, for example, data governance and an ethics committee or corporate governance, whatever. But then one thing is how to improve entrepreneurs, you know, their own, you know, internal policy or procedures or committees. And another aspect is how to support them, you know, something specific on technological side. For example, you know, the algorithm auditing or legal advice, or even, you know, support from data scientists, etc., etc. So we will be creating through Faura initiative a platform so that after self-diagnosis of the entrepreneurs and what they need, what are their demands, to connect with specialized service providers and to be able to support entrepreneurs to go through the journey. And the last one is maybe, you know, how to support with right communication for entrepreneurs. Even though entrepreneurs and startups are you know, taking into consideration the ethical approach and the responsibility approach in their product development, etc., but such kind of an approach should be communicated in a right way to other players like investors or public sector or decision makers, you know, to be able to respond in, you know, in a better way, like to the questions and we listened today between the conversation, Ivan and the other participants. So the Faura is, in a nutshell, is a public-private sector initiative, and then on private sector side, and we are creating a kind of tools or matrix how we can support entrepreneurs in not us being like data scientists, and we are, you know, just a multilateral you know, organization. So our idea is, you know, in which aspects we can support entrepreneurs connecting dots of the ecosystem players, and so that entrepreneurs and startups can continue developing their products and services and based on AI. So that is, you know, basically my intervention in the, well, we are in developing such kind of tools and to be published in the website, and you are seeing. So I hope this kind of conversation continued, and once you have identified and interesting information through this website, and if you have questions, I'm open to continue discussing. And just to finish, believe or not, I'm Japanese, but then I speak Spanish. So welcome to receive any question or comment also in Spanish. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Tetsuro. Now you can hear me. Thank you so much for your presentation and for your time. Yes, we have a question. So, Tetsuro, have you thought about studying how artificial intelligence can be applied to have a more sustainable natural environment in the future? Maybe you can create a startup oriented on that.
Yes, The short answer is yes, and because we are interested in, for example, climate change related projects in Latin America and the Caribbean region, and then we are proactively seeking combining any technology to solve the problem. So we are open to listen any proposal you may have. Talking about a Fair Luck initiative in particular, we started the initiative somehow specialized or concentrated on personal data or handling of the personal data, and related to environment or climate change. Not necessarily personal data are engaged, but the maybe outside the Fair Luck context, we can consider any AI related project for climate change or environmental issues. So the short answer is yes, and it can be inside the Fair Luck initiative, but then outside the context of Fair Luck initiative. But then we are open to listen any idea in either way.
Thank you so much, Tetsuro. As usual, Cesar, do you want to add something, or is it clear for you? You can unmute.
Yeah, clear. Thank you.
Thank you so much. So do you have more questions coming from the attendees, or maybe Ivan or Ricard, you want to add some comments?
I'm okay. Open to any question or conversation that the others want to start.
Okay, perfect. So yes, thank you so much for all of yours to your presentation. So now this is the time of Q&A roundtable. I think during all of your presentation, we had several questions during your presentation, Ivan, also Tetsuro and Ricard. So I'm asking just if you have more questions coming from the attendees, or maybe you want to debate about one subject between you speakers. ¿No, Tetsuro? ¿Ricard?
No, en principio no.
Y podemos hablar español también. Podemos hablar español.
Okay, so just one question from my side, and maybe I can speak Spanish. Me gustaría escuchar de parte de ustedes, Ricard y Iván, sobre su percepción sobre el estado de desarrollo de uso de inteligencia artificial en América Latina, porque nosotros escuchamos mucho la palabra inteligencia artificial como potenciales proyectos en América Latina y el Caribe, pero en realidad hay pocos ejemplos o pocos casos de uso realmente con inteligencia artificial o machine learning. So, comparando con lo que ustedes están mirando en Europa, ¿cómo caracterizarían ustedes el estado de arte de inteligencia artificial o machine learning en América Latina y el Caribe?
Bueno, Iván creo que tiene un par, por lo menos un par de ejemplos interesantes de la aplicación en América Latina, ¿no?
Sí, sí, nosotros hemos aplicado nuestra tecnología en América Latina de diversas maneras, pero también intentando contestar de manera frontal al debate que habría Tetsuro, nos estamos encontrando con, o sea, nosotros normalmente no abordamos los proyectos de manera directa, sino que vamos con un partner, una empresa colaboradora. Y en América Latina pues estamos haciendo bastantes esfuerzos para encontrar colaboradores que quieran o que identifiquen oportunidades en las cuales poder implementar tecnología como la nuestra en casos de uso concretos. Y la verdad es que tenemos como 16 colaboradores ahora mismo en diferentes países de América Latina, y todo el mundo nos está acogiendo con las manos abiertas, porque parece que no hay soluciones parecidas a la nuestra, por un lado. Por otro lado, también parece que la adopción de este tipo de tecnologías es incipiente. Todavía no hay muchas experiencias de éxito, que ya sabéis que normalmente lo que hace que las cosas se aceleren son las experiencias de éxito, pues parece que no hay demasiadas. Y bueno, y esto hace pues que sea un poco lo que se llama en marketing un blue ocean, un océano azul de oportunidades donde todo es posible porque no hay un precedente previo. Entonces, bueno, yo creo que, y no es solo en América Latina, ¿eh? En Japón nos encontramos un poco lo mismo, que podríamos decir que es como la otra parte, ¿no? Y aquí en Europa también nos encontramos con muchas organizaciones y muchos gobiernos o alcaldías o empresas que todavía no han hecho nada alrededor de este tipo de tecnologías ni se han planteado cómo les pueden ayudar.
Gracias, Iván. Ricard, ¿quieres añadir algo sobre el tema?
No, un poco lo que decía Iván, porque yo conozco ejemplos precisamente de la mano de Iván, de aplicaciones que se han hecho en América Latina y con diferentes gobiernos en los que yo directamente estoy participando en América Latina y ayudándoles en proyectos. Cuando les propones trabajar con inteligencia artificial, lo ven un poco lejano aún, ¿eh? Les cuesta adoptar estas experiencias, todo que tienen un gran interés en conocerlas, pero cuando las tienen que implementar hay un poco de, yo diría que vértigo en aplicar estos conocimientos a su ámbito. Supongo que también aquí hay un problema de que los comentaba de talento que sea capaz, de talento digital, digamos, que sea capaz de que estos proyectos se puedan quedar localizados en el mismo territorio. Yo creo que lo que no sería correcto, creo yo, es implementar estos proyectos en remoto y que luego no puedan seguir creciendo de alguna manera con las personas y con las empresas que hay en el mismo territorio. Yo creo que quizá uno de los problemas que tenemos en estos momentos es que falta este primer tejido que permita que aterricen estos proyectos, ¿no?
Gracias.
Gracias a todos. Tenemos una pregunta para Iván. ¿En qué país trabajéis? Porque hay tanto enfoque en Latinoamérica.
Pues mira, estamos trabajando, tal vez el mayor contrasentido es que el país donde desde el año pasado hemos trabajado más activamente es Japón, y es porque NTT Data, que es la segunda o tercera telco más grande del mundo, es japonesa y nos seleccionó como la mejor startup del mundo, y desde entonces empezamos a trabajar con ellos. También estamos trabajando en España, evidentemente. Tenemos proyectos en otros países de Europa y Latinoamérica nos parece muy interesante porque hay mucho reto social, porque hay mucha concienciación de que hay que resolver muchos problemas y están muy abiertos a hacer muchas pruebas y a empujar proyectos. Y la otra es porque uno de nuestros principales colaboradores es el BIT, que de alguna manera está dinamizando toda la región y nos está facilitando mucho la tarea. No es lo mismo, por poner un ejemplo muy sencillo, no es lo mismo tener que evangelizar o tener que estar explicando lo que pueden hacer todas estas tecnologías a base de hacer pruebas de concepto mal pagadas, hechas muy rápido, con defensores y detractores dentro del mismo proyecto, que tener a un colaborador que se cree al 100% lo que estás haciendo y te empuja y te anima y te ayuda a mejorar cada día. Entonces, bueno, yo te diría que no trabajamos solo en Latinoamérica, trabajamos en todo el mundo. Podemos levantar un proyecto en Turquía, pero dándole a un botón, pero realmente los compañeros de viaje son importantes y estamos encontrando muy buenos compañeros de viaje en estas regiones.
Muchas gracias. César, como siempre, puedes unmute para saber si ha contestado o no a tu pregunta.
Sí, muchas gracias, Iván. Me parece muy interesante el debate ético en torno a la inteligencia artificial. La verdad es que me parece muy, muy interesante. Gracias.
Gracias a ti.
Gracias. Bueno, yo creo que por el chatbox no tenemos más preguntas. Al final, yo creo que este tema ha sido muy interesante porque muchas personas han preguntado. Yo creo que por mi parte voy a hacer el debate solo si alguien quiere levantar la mano y preguntar algo o si vosotros como ponentes queréis añadir algo. If you want also in English, because I know that we will close soon the session. If you have some more question, this is the moment.
For me, this is Tetsuro speaking. Just for me to finish, and then also related to the previous question, why Latin America for Citibeats? Well, of course, and we are invited Citibeats and we provided financing to incentivize and to go to Latin America. But it is because and also based on our perception, belief, and findings. I'm working for IDB for years and always working for Latin America and the Caribbean region in that sense, and maybe my knowledge is not perfect regarding the Asia, Africa, but the Latin American entrepreneurial ecosystem or Latin American openness to the innovation and the advance is interestingly advancing. More, open and eager to learn a new technology and the potential of new solutions. So that's why I think if Latin American entrepreneurial ecosystem or ecosystem in general is open to think about new technologies or to accept or tweak and then implement new technologies, it is the time to think about ethical use or responsible handling of personal data or data in general, because this kind of topics, the sooner the better. So I think this conversation is very timely for me. Not only for people, I don't know what kind of people are participating, but not only happening in Europe, but this is very timely to make this kind of conversation happen in Latin America. So thank you very much from my side.
Thank you very much, Tetsuro. We will close the session. So if you want the speaker, el ponente, si quieres añadir algo, solo será la sesión para decir saludar. And from the audience, we have only thank you for the webinar, very interesting and challenging topic. So we can be really proud of you. Thank you. And I'll let you the last word for you, and after the last word for me, and it will be the end of the session.
Thank you very much. It's a pleasure from my side. I've enjoyed a lot, and looking forward to speak with any of you that want to reach me through email or through social networks.
Thank you, Iván.
Muchas gracias, y yo creo que es un debate, como se ha dicho, que está empezando, pero que le queda aún mucho recorrido, o sea que encantado de hablar o de intercambiar información, opiniones con quien quiera a través también de mi email.
Muchas gracias. And Tetsuro already say thank you, but you can again.
Yeah. Thank you very much. And then I think, well, I don't know how I can share my personal contact information, but any question, maybe, I don't know, directly or through Global M, I'm happy to have offline conversation or connection with you. Thank you very much.
Thank you. I would love to say thank you. Muchas gracias, Ricard, por tu tiempo. De verdad lo agradezco mucho. We just received several thank you from the attendees, so really you can be proud of you. Don't worry, tomorrow I will send you the recording of the session, so we have all of the video, in that way you can cut and to have it with your authorization, of course. And also I will send you with the authorization. You have the contact of the attendees. If they want, they can contact you, okay? And if you want, with your authorization, with the GDPR's law, protection law, data protection law. So this is the end of the session. Again, thank you so much. The topic was really relevant, interesting from my point of view. And I would love to officially close the session, and you can leave step by step the session. Thank you, and have a lovely afternoon.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You.